Finished. We are not finished making history. We're here to send a message to the good old boys who want to maintain that conservative stranglehold on New York State. We plagiarize somebody you might recognize. We will not be intimidated into withdrawing from this process. You've tried hard, you've given it your all, but your coordinated and well-funded effort to destroy us will not drive us out. We will never quit, never. So, who am I? And what am I doing here? For those of you who are old enough to know that famous quote, let me tell you a little bit about me. I'm here because I want to support an amazing woman who I have a great deal of respect for, and I know a little bit about her opponent. My life's been committed to a long process of paving a path towards women's equality. I served as vice president of Planned Parenthood for almost 25 years. Over that time, I've worked with hundreds of people in Albany and Washington to advance women's rights. More recently, I've turned to partisan efforts, and I serve now as the president of Orange County Democratic Women. Our goal is to get more women involved in government at every level. Well, my story of Planned Parenthood is relevant because I did have a chance to work a little bit with Andy Rabbit. I was brought into Planned Parenthood to build a political arm because back in the 80s, far-sighted women realized that the rights to birth control and abortion would not be easy to maintain, let alone build on. The political winds that were blowing then have increased steadily since then. Over the years, I've organized more marches to Washington and Albany than I can even remember. I've lived through the days of clinic bombings, murders of doctors. I've worked with hostage negotiators, and I oversaw the installation of the first bulletproof window in a clinic for Planned Parenthood. Since then, all of this has become routine. I've organized protests against nominees by Judge Bork, Roberts, Alito, Thomas, Scalia, and now Kavanaugh. But in New York, we have held our own. However, the hardest work affecting social attitudes about women and their sexuality and reproductive rights includes women's confidence in themselves. The message that women should be able to control their own bodies was not as easy as you might think, because women have been socialized over centuries to accept a secondary status. Many suffer from low esteem, many don't even see themselves as something larger than themselves, and some of those who rose to positions of power, they did so on the backs of other women. Many of the women of that generation continue to affect the politics of today. We know all too well that there are women who do not support the idea that women deserve the respect we give men. The Kavanaugh-Blasey Ford hearing uncovered how socialization affects our attitudes today. We know that Dr. Blasey Ford's testimony was dignified, his behavior was not. And had the roles been reversed, the reaction to an angry, hostile woman simply would not have been tolerated. Strong women scare people. And we saw that in the 2016 election, when Hillary Clinton was criticized constantly every time she spoke with passion. And Donald Trump was able to win praise from his supporters every time he bullied and went on a tirade. So to most people, there was no question that Kavanaugh doesn't have the temperament to be a Supreme Court justice. And for most of us, watching the senators agonize over their decision, well, that was agony. This deep-rooted socialization is very real, and because we've had to organize politically to get ourselves moving forward, we've also had to accept a snail's pace of progress. But the battles come on top of each other, one after another, and they're speeding up, and we're on a roller coaster of wins and losses. We have a new generation of women who have never known a time when contraception was illegal. And we have a graying generation who are invested in protecting the legacy of those past and the promise to their future generations. So I know what it's like to lose a battle, but I also know that there's a sea change happening, and we're part of that.